Some days are just long. Whether you've ever walked into work expecting a normal night or watched one change throw an entire routine sideways, thanks for finding me on Coffee with Dubs. Today, we're talking about how much we depend on rhythm, even when we don't realize we do. Good morning and welcome back to Coffee with Dubs. Last night was my first night back to work, and heading in, I really thought it was just gonna be a normal shift. I had my head up, I felt ready to get back into it, and for the most part, the night was exactly what it was. Then, toward the end of the shift, things completely went astray. I obviously can't get into the details because there are privacy rules involved with the people I work with, but I can tell you that there were messes to clean up and some pretty serious emotions happening between two of my guys. By the time everything settled down, my brain felt like it had been stretched way past capacity. I had a pounding headache and still had to stay focused enough to get everybody through the rest of my night safely. The interesting part is that when I look back at what kicked everything off, it really wasn't some huge dramatic event. Something small changed in the usual routine of the apartment. It was new, it didn't fit the flow of the evening, and the disruption was enough to throw things off. And then I think how much we underestimate the power that routine has over us. We usually talk about routine like it's boring. Same chair, same schedule, same way of doing things. But for a lot of people, routine isn't about being boring at all. It's about what makes the world predictable enough to feel manageable. Even for people who handle change pretty well, there's comfort in knowing what comes next. When sudden changes happen, your brain has to do more work. Most of us can absorb that without much trouble, but everybody has a point where enough unexpected stuff piles up and the system starts being overloaded. Last night I watched that happen around me while also feeling it happen to me. Once everything started escalating, I had to keep moving through it. I couldn't just say, well, this is a lot, I'm going home, because that's part of my job. You deal with what's in front of you and you try to keep your own frustration from becoming another problem in the room. By the time things calmed down though, I was cooked. I had a massive headache, and because of some of the medication changes I've had recently, I wasn't comfortable just grabbing whatever pain reliever happened to be around. I didn't have one I knew I could use with me, so there really wasn't much to do except get through the rest of the shift and go home. And that's exactly what I did. But I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little part of me looking at the schedule afterward and thinking, cool, I'm back in the same apartment tonight and tomorrow. That doesn't mean I'm expecting the same thing to happen again. Last night was last night, but once you've had one of those shifts, your brain tends to leave little warning signs behind. It's almost like it's saying, hey, remember what happened there yesterday? Just making sure you haven't forgotten. And that's probably one of the harder parts of stressful situations. The event can be over, but your body, your brain, doesn't necessarily get that memo at the same time. I went home last night completely spent. I wanted to relax, but apparently my brain had other plans because I ended up lying down and just crashing. Didn't plug my phone in, didn't think about it, nothing. I just woke up this morning, the phone was completely dead, and at that point, you just have to laugh. After everything else, of course, the phone dies. That little cherry on top doesn't actually matter, but somehow it perfectly sums up how fried you were the night before. And that's kind of where my brain's at today. I'm going back in tonight. And I know what happened yesterday, but I also know walking in expecting a disaster probably isn't helping anybody, especially me. So I have to separate what actually happened from what my brain's preparing me for now. Maybe tonight's gonna be completely normal. Maybe it isn't. Either way, I can't work tonight's shift while mentally replaying yesterday's. And I think that applies to more than work. Sometimes a bad experience teaches us something useful. Other times, we accidentally turn it into a prediction. One rough night becomes here we go again. One difficult interaction becomes this person's always going to be a problem. And before anything else actually happens, you're already responding to a version of the day you built in your head. I'm trying not to do that tonight. I can be aware of the situation without walking in tense. Remember what happened without assuming it's going to repeat itself. And if routine gets knocked sideways again, I'll deal with what's actually happening instead of fighting yesterday's fight at the same time. Thanks for joining me on another Pour Coffee with Dubs. Until next time, remember, sometimes getting through a hard day isn't the difficult part. The difficult part's making sure that you don't carry it into the next one before the next one even starts. Now, I'm gonna go get ready. A shower, a shave, another cup of coffee, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out of here.